Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of my McLaren Return to Glory here today for the Belgian Grand Prix sprint race. Yes, for the first time ever, we are doing a sprint race at the Belgian Grand Prix in Spa. So this should be a very fun and very different looking weekend. Now before we jump into today's action, as always, the previous episode will be linked in the top right, the Hungarian Grand Prix, guys. Go check it out. We took a big gamble on strategy in that one in the race, so go see what happened if you haven't seen it, because spoilers, as always, are ahead. So you have about 5 seconds to click off if you haven't seen that episode already. So let's talk about Belgium and updates on the way. So in the last episode, we renewed our contract and we're locked in until Abu Dhabi. There's a bit of a glitch right now, which seems like we may not have a seat for the final race, so I'm hoping it gets patched by then. Either way, we have upgrades on the car this weekend, and we're going to go ahead and add to that. So first things first is rear floor on the chassis, and we're also going to add on an extra upgrade for the tyre wear, which is something we have struggled with this season. It's in terms of strategies, we kind of can't really do what the AI do in terms of strategy because they have better tyre wear than us. So we're going to basically try to improve that and match them up. Also an MGUH upgrade, as that is also one of those components that is a bit more worn out. So here we are, race weekend time at Spa, and as you can see, we have updates, which means we are now once again the 5th best team. We re-overtake Haas and Alfa Romeo and Williams, and we're now back where we were. The gap to the top 4 though is still large, but Ferrari dropping to 4th, Aston Martin up into 2nd now with their upgrade package. So things are moving all the time here as we jump into practice. Now Spa, same track as last year, it hasn't changed in this new game. Everything is exactly the same, even the replay cameras, so we know what to expect. However, with the new handling, it is a bit more fun to drive in certain areas, and yeah, definitely same old dog, but no new tricks. You know, pretty much same old story here, really. So fuel really high, tires pretty decent. So we're gonna have to factor that in for the race in terms of, you know, what fuel we run. Either way, I'm gonna actually make an adjustment here. So after practice, we're gonna jump into the qualifying. So I'm gonna go ahead and use some fresh components because this is a power circuit, and some of the components I was running were pretty second-hand. So I want to have full power available for the 2 races this weekend. So we'll get a double benefit from those fresh components. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and switch them around, including the control electronics, which is really, really important as we only have 2 of those. And yeah, with that done, we are now ready for qualifying here at Spa before we jump into the sprint race and then eventually into the main race. So let's talk about qualifying. We've had a pretty decent run lately. I feel like I've found a bit of form in terms of qualifying performances, and our pace is getting better. However, you may have noticed there was no weather forecast because we weren't given one. So I'm going into this blind, and we have rain instantly in qualifying. So I went out straight away, literally straight away, as soon as I possibly could. And already on the outlap, the rain is starting to fall.
The rain's going to keep getting heavier for the next 15 minutes at least. Okay, dry seem like the best tyre for now.
And that is pretty much the update. So we skipped to the end of the outlap, and I actually chose to pull over. We had 3 cars in close proximity, pretty much all, you know, pressuring me, and it was Hamilton and Perez especially, who would have easily gone faster than me probably on that lap. So I didn't want any pressure from behind. I wanted to be able to focus and do the best I can on this single lap. And it rained really quick. The track got wet so fast. For the most part, I actually managed to squeeze the lap in just in time. It looks worse than what it is. The grip is just about manageable, and only around now I'd say the track is really starting to lose quality and deteriorate. So all we have to do is get through the bus stop chicane and we're going to be okay. I think we've just about got away with it as we have a downshift there through Blanchimont. Speaking of the bus stop, on the brakes, oh my god, that was a nice catch, but that is not the fastest way through there, and that is going to cost us dearly as we finish with a 1:55 pretty much dead, and we're last of those who set a dry tyre time. So back to the garage. By then we was back down to last place. Others on the intermediates were going faster, so we had to go on the intermediates to try and improve. Now you'll see here for the Delta, I was actually down, and I was down all the way up until the start of sector 3, and only now through Blanchimont and the bus stop am I finding time. Again though, we outbrake ourselves and running very deep into the bus stop, which cost us some more time. regardless, I kept on pushing for, a few more laps as we have time left for a few more. We've got fuel and ERS, so we're going to keep pushing. And as you see now, we are up yet again by another few tenths as we basically have to try and sort out the bus stop, keep it nice and tidy and not make any mistakes, and just kind of break a bit earlier, play it simple, play it safe, and basically guarantee the advantage and lock in the lap time. So right now, we're P15, we're on the cusp, so we need this improvement, and you can see here, we find time through Blanchimont. Bit of a moment on the entry, but we find time and keep the bus stop nice and clean, and we improve by 8 tenths, which is going to move us up into P10, which is much better and takes the pressure off. So that is us done, guys. I had no more fuel really for another lap. I tried to go for one more, as you can see here, and I'm actually up, so this could actually work, but we have a moment out of Malmedy, a huge moment, and then we lose the back end through turn 8. Again though, I kept on pushing, but we just pushed a bit too hard. We broke the front wing and we lost the back end. Luckily we're not out of the session, but that is going to be it for us.
Okay, be careful with the front wing, you've taken some minor damage. Tyre condition still looking good.
Luckily, we're through. Thankfully. So, even though we made a mistake, the lap before was good enough. And yeah, we had to get that lap in. So, very happy with that. Lando also just makes it through in P15, although he made it through by a couple of tenths. Lance Stroll out. That's the big news in Q1 in the Aston Martin. And yeah, pretty much a decent session. I think I could have got through on dryers if I hadn't completely wrecked the final bus stop chicane. But it is what it is. I made a mistake and we have to live by it. So into Q2, and you can see the weather forecast is heavy rain right now for the next 5 to 10 minutes. And then it's going to lighten up a little bit. And you'll see as time goes on, it looks like we might actually get a bit of sunshine, possibly at the very end, at the 60-minute mark. So the conditions or the tendency looks like it's going to dry up. At least that's what it says on the monitor. So I actually chose to wait because I only want to use one set of tyres. So I waited until the very last minute, but then we got a warning for unsuitable tyre. And I saw the AI were out in the full wets, which made no sense. That was the complete opposite of what the weather forecast said, where it was going to get lighter. Instead, it got heavier as everyone started off on inters and then moved to full wets. So I tried to go out on the inter and get a lap in, and to be fair, it felt pretty decent. I was up in sector 1, although in sector 2 we started to feel the time loss and I started to lose time, and we were 6 tenths down on George Russell, and yeah, pretty much the track just was too wet. So I actually got hoodwinked by the monitor and the prediction forecast, which is really annoying. So yeah, to put the ice on the cake, a nice little no-hand drift into the bus stop as we close out qualifying. I'm definitely making that into one of the clips on the channel. But yeah, disappointing. Just got done by the monitor really. I got confident. I trusted the forecast, and we came unstuck. I wanted to use one set of tyres only to get through, and yeah, that was it. Because obviously Q3 is going to be wet as well, so we have 3 sets of inters all weekend. So I wanted to use one set of inter per session. Instead, we're out P15, not even a time set. Lando P6 into Q3, along with the big surprise, Alex Albon's in there. Also, worth noting, good news for us, Alonso is out in P13. So both Aston Martins out of qualifying, whereas Lando is into Q3. So that is at least some sort of positive heading into the sprint race. Now, before we jump into that, we of course have practice, as it was a sprint weekend. So after practice, we took care of qualifying, then we went to practice 2, which is what we did. We got a bunch of discounts as always, and a nice heap of R&D points and the claim. So yeah, let's go into the sprint race.
Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's sprint. An immense lap from Lewis Hamilton yesterday puts him on pole position, and the smooth operator Carlos Sainz completes the front row. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Verstappen, Perez, Leclerc, Ocon, Hulkenberg, Albon, Norris, Gasly, Russell, Zhou, Fernando Alonso, Bottas, Martinez, Tsunoda, Magnussen, Stroll, Sargent, and Nick de Vries. And with preparations almost complete, let's head trackside for today's sprint. And with me as usual is Anthony Davidson. They've been involved in a number of costly incidents lately. That's got to affect their mindset going into this race.
It's not an ideal situation by any means, When you get into a bad run like that, there's always a risk of frustration creeping in, which can cause more mistakes and locks you into this vicious cycle. Hopefully today they can get through turn 1 cleanly and stay calm for the rest of the race.
Here we go then. Time for the first ever sprint race at Spa, and this is going to be interesting. So 8 laps ahead of us. Pretty simple strategy, no big surprises, so we're just going to get into it. Hopefully learn a fair bit of information and we can carry that over into the main race. But yeah, let's get to work and let's try and fight back. Top 8 score points. Not sure if we'll get top 8, but if we can try and give ourselves a chance for the race, that would be nice. Lights out, away we go. Alonso on softs. Got to try and see if we can get past him, as he's quite low down compared to where Aston Martin usually are, as we try to attack the Alpine of Pierre Gasly. Zhou also looking to get by. Oh, brushed the wall there.
Tyre condition still looking good.
Got away with that one. As we can see, too wide Gasly and Zhou. We're going to use that to go through and move into P12. VMAX looking very decent without any battery use. Gasly though back around the outside actually, and Alonso looking for the pass. We're going to fight back though again and re-overtake Pierre with a lovely move. Calculated, fine margins, but we get it done. Lando up into P9. Okay, this isn't too bad. We're giving ourselves half a chance here with that start on the medium. Let's see if we can try and pass Zhou as we get a track limit warning for turn 9 exit. Just running a bit too wide. Also having to readapt to dry weather running compared to, you know, qualifying in the wet. So that's going to take me a moment. But we'll see how the pace holds up, especially lap 3 onwards when DRS gets enabled. That's a key thing. Just got to try and stay within a second. Oh, got very close there on the brakes. The AI checking up. Zhou with a pretty average exit, so this is going to give us a chance. Alonso overtaking Pierre behind, so important that we try and put Zhou in between ourselves and the soft tyre Aston Martin. So here we go in the slipstream, not having to use any ERS, just the drag effect being taken off the car making the difference, as we are going to try to outbrake Zhou. He holds on, to be fair to his credit, but we'll go around the outside and lock that one in. So P11, lovely, lovely move, nice and clean. Zhou gets close but chooses to not repass. Let's see if we can try and get ourselves within a second of George Russell here and Lando. Right, so we've got a bit of a battle up ahead. Lando pressuring the Haas, who currently sits in P8, not sure which one it is, but he's now looking for the overtake. Russell also lurking, but we've got DRS, and we've also dropped Zhou as he's now battling with Alonso. We go purple in sector 1 as Lando makes the move into the points and into the top 8, which we love to see. Let's see if we can try and get involved. Russell goes through on Hulkenberg. They're both using up the battery, so they're pulling away from me here, so I might lose DRS on the main straight. I'm going to have to try and push the brake section here. But Russell through, Hulkenberg dropping back. I want to see if I can try and help out Lando in the battle versus Hulkenberg. No DRS, but that's okay. Decent pace. Let's try and get involved and pass Hulkenberg. That was a really good turn 1. I think we're really strong through there. The AI not particularly great in La Source, so that gives us a great chance to make overtakes. Here we go then. Rapidly closing. No need for the ERS right now, as we just have the drag reduction effect. We're going to just squeeze our way through on the outside. Going to brake super late. Long way around. Hulkenberg holds on, which isn't great news for us. Fair play. Inside line clearly the better option, so we're going to have to try and get that next time around. I think for the main race, I'm going to have to get a bit more front wing. That's an adjustment I will make. Either way, Alonso has joined back up. Russell, Norris battling side by side into turn 1. So now would be a good time to get this overtake finished and basically leapfrog onto our teammate and George. I've given myself a bit of space this time to Hulkenberg to not get the run.
4 laps of fuel remaining.
I don't want to get the run so early. I want to be able to get on that inside line. Here we go. Hulkenberg, no DRS. And now we can take it. There we go. Much easier. Hopefully he can distract Alonso a bit. Cost him a bit of time. Meanwhile, Russell through on Norris. So it's a battle now, both McLarens versus Mercedes for that final point. Right, then we're going to just get DRS on Lando and also drop Hulkenberg. So he's now going to have to deal with Alonso. Russell's actually pulled away here and dropped Lando. So the Mercedes a bit too quick by the looks of it. So this might be where things end for us in this sprint race. Alonso pressuring, looking to get by, although we have lots of charge to use here, so we should be fine. Just got to make sure I don't mess up the braking point into the bus stop chicane, and we're home and dry. Well, you can see Alonso not able to keep up. Verstappen wins the sprint, and it's going to be top 10 for us, so that gives us a decent starting point for the race. So we'll take that.
And that's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
Welcome then, as we take a step back into the nostalgic golden days of motorsport. Spa is unashamedly a throwback, and all the better for it. Climbs, drops, sharp turns, chicanes, sweeping high-speed corners, all while taking in some of the most beautiful scenery that Europe has to offer. This might sound like a travel brochure, but it's not. It's a race day. Welcome along to Spa-Francorchamps for the Belgian Grand Prix. Spa-Francorchamps then, a historic 19-corner circuit with a lap distance of 4.35 miles. There's over 100 metres of elevation change here, and with long stretches of the lap spent flat out, a good top speed will be vital for success. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. World champion Max Verstappen starts from pole position, edging out Sergio Perez, who lines up P2. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Sainz, Hamilton, Leclerc, Ocon, Albon, Russell, Norris, Martinez, Fernando Alonso, Gasly, Hulkenberg, Joe, Tsunoda, Stroll, Magnussen, Bottas, Sargent, and Nick de Vries. And now it's time to head down to the track. Also here, of course, is Anthony Davidson. The last few races have been a bit rough for them, unable to get a clean run. That's got to have some effect on their confidence, surely.
Certainly confidence is an important factor. And every time you're involved in an incident, it's not just the car you damage, but that confidence as well. But all the top racing drivers are able to tune that out when the race gets underway and focus on the job at hand.
Now then, the race could be interesting. Very, very interesting. So, rain is forecast at the end of this race. So, could we potentially start on the hard tyre? I'm not sure. I'm really wondering what the best choice could be. Maybe take a gamble or not. I think I want to go for the medium. And basically, we'll ask for a weather report nearer to the time of the pit stop. And depending on what is said, we will try to maybe stretch it or bolt on a soft tyre and go for a short squirt on the red wool soft. So, yeah, what I am going to do is tweak the wing. I mentioned that I'm going to try and increase it for the race. I feel like we lack a bit of front end, so we'll make that adjustment. And pretty much the rest of it, I'm quite happy with it. So, yeah, the key thing here is fuel. So, I'm going to, based off the sprint, go for 0.5. That should be manageable. So, yeah, that rain at the end. Let's see what happens. That could completely change the race. So, guys, as always, like, subscribe. Prediction down below. Do you think the rain will affect this race? Let's find out. Here we go. I was right. Williams had got ahead of us in the sprint. Let's see how he performs in the race, though. Good start as we jump Russell. Nowhere to go there as we're right in the middle of it, so we're going to have to be careful. 3 wide. Norris Alonso with a good start, and Russell now fighting back. So we lose a place off the start. Not really much I could have done there. Just had to mind the front wing and accept the 3 wide scenario. Tires are nicely warm. The majority of cars have chosen to start on the soft, so we'll see how that works out for them. Maybe it could backfire later once the rain arrives. Lando pressuring Russell on that soft tyre. Hulkenberg trying to go through. We'll leave a space as we will now go around the outside of Hulkenberg. Holds on though. Still holds on, but now we get in front. Let's see what other cars up ahead do. but knowing that Ocon and Albon are up ahead, we need to try and press on here because there's good points up for grabs. For now though, we're going to be constantly defending as Hulkenberg looks to go through, put the pressure on here on the back foot on this medium tyre. Even Russell struggling, so you just have to try and hold on. Hopefully the wing can help us out. But I'm going to basically go quiet and focus up here because these first few laps are going to be crucial and I've got to try and make this tyre work. Oh, car in the pits. Perez. So damage for him. That would explain the massive gap Verstappen has out front. Got to be careful here because the AI check up so much under braking. We can easily lose an end plate. The ideal scenario here is to basically try and get ourselves with George and battle with him. That would be nice. For now though, we've weathered the early storm. We'll see how the race kind of opens up. I'd love to know what tyre Albon and Ocon are on. I think Albon's on a soft, but I haven't seen Ocon's car yet.
Information on Ocon. They've got an issue with their car. They're going to be slow.
Well, that is going to cause absolute chaos as all this fast traffic tries to get through. I was going to say, it does look like Ocon, Albon just starting to drop a little bit, so their true pace is showing a bit more in this race and they're starting to struggle, but Ocon now is definitely going to be in trouble and Albon is all over the back of him. I can just see in the distance, so let's see. We'll stay on board here for a moment because this is going to affect the middle sector, especially if it's a grave issue, so let's see how Ocon deals with it. Ocon and Albon side by side through P1 and Albon goes through, so Alex trying to make a run for it. Let's see. Ocon, you can see visually holding up traffic. Not holding me up though, I'm not that great in the middle sector, so it's not causing me any time loss. But we'll see now what happens on the run down to the bus stop. Here we go. Norris looking for the move. And I think he's got both of them actually, Russell and Ocon. Going to brake nice and early just to be just a little bit cautious. Ocon's on softs, so that sorts out that little doubt I had in my mind. Good exit there. We've given ourselves a chance versus Alonso here. Up the inside, Alonso does not defend. I will go through because we can use Ocon here to make some progress. I will use battery. We're ready to strike. Let's see what Russell does. Ocon, you can see struggling through the top of a Rouge and Radeon. And there goes Russell. Ocon does move across a bit, tries to defend. Got to try and be efficient here with this. So taking a very early apex to get the line right to set up the exit through here, out of Malmedy. Down to turn 8. Up the inside. And that is the best way to avoid time loss. Oh, yellow flag. I think Alonso.
Okay, clear. Okay, safety car deployed. Safety car's been deployed. Watch your delta. Make sure you keep it positive as we catch the pack. Okay, we've been informed of an incident which has resulted in lots of loose debris on the track. Safety car is being deployed. Okay,
that was definitely Alonso.
Strategy on your MFD if you want to go and check it out.
Yep, we're going to box for the hard tyre.
Okay, copy that.
Hard tyres, 100%. We can hopefully take these to the end. Although Lando pits, I'll stack, I don't care.
Lando's coming in for his stop now.
Right, here we go. So Alonso crashed out. We'll get a replay up on screen of the incident. I would have done that already, to be fair. We're going to have to stack behind Lando. We'll go for the hard tyre. And we'll take a gamble here and see if we can take this into the rain. 1.9. Wow, what a stop. Thank you very much, pit crew, making up for that stack. We lose out to Ocon, of course, with the issues.
Okay, stay clear of the white line on the exit. We'll receive a penalty for dangerous driving if you cross onto the track.
One more lap of safety car. Let's see if anyone else pits. The safety car is very, very slow here. Very slow. We are crawling our way around at the minute. And yeah, some cars are pitting, so let's see. That's going to open the race up quite a bit. So the race will get back underway at the end of the lap, and we're going to be P14, or no, P13 as Albon pits. So lovely. We gain a net place. Hopefully Ocon still has car trouble on the restart, so we can pass him straight away. And then yeah, We'll be trying to manage P12 on this tyre, whilst everyone's on probably quicker rubber. Here we go then, restart time. And to be fair, I'm pretty sure everyone's on soft, so we're going to get destroyed in these first few laps. I don't think we have a chance of, you know, really fighting, so I'm going to try and keep the time loss to a minimal. I'm not going to fight. We'll either stretch this to an intermediate or go to the end. Either way, I'm not planning to stop again for another set of dries. So let's take the risk, let's take the gamble, and let's see if it pays off. And one more car pits, interesting enough. It's Lance Stroll in the pit lane. Interesting, so that will give wrap P12 to us. But yeah, back underway. Let's try and push on, let's see if we can make this tyre work. May even actually pass Ocon, to be fair here. He may still have issues with his car, so might be worth trying to clear him. Here we go. On the outside, which isn't ideal, but we're dragging ahead. Ocon now fighting. Gonna leave space, but we're gonna take it. There we go. Hopefully he's still got some issues with his car and he can hold up some of those faster cars and softs behind. That would be the ideal scenario here. Give us a bit of a short moment to build some temperature and some confidence in these tyres. Up ahead, Leclerc behind Bottas as Zhou looks to go through. So Ocon's still in trouble. Leclerc and Norris going through Bottas right now, who seems to be a bit slow on this restart. And that battle is going to cost them some time and it might just get us within range. More battles up ahead as well with some of those cars who haven't stopped as Leclerc locks up on the way through past Bottas. Lando makes the pass and I'm going to get a chance now to crack on here with Valtteri as we pull to the inside. I don't think Valtteri stopped yet, so those soft tyres are very second hand, so we actually have an advantage there. And just like that, we're P10 and on the hard tyre. So this restart has actually gone exceptionally well. Much better than I planned. We've got more traffic ahead on old tyres. You can see Leclerc there carving his way through an AlphaTauri, so it's going pretty well so far. Oh, here we go. Lando going for the move into Puon. This is brave. Makes it look easy. And I'm going to try and follow here using the battery. Not a conventional overtaking opportunity or overtaking spot. And I'm not quite able to get through, but Tsunoda leaves the door open a bit. It's a bit shy. I'm going to go around the outside of Stavlo and make the pass. That wasn't the cleanest and the most efficient move, but we'll take it. We might have just cost ourselves DRS with Lando in the process. Meanwhile, Pierre overtaken by Leclerc, so Gasly has also, I believe, not stopped. Oh yes, we've done it. Lando did just get held slightly by Pierre into turn 1, so that's done the job, and we've got DRS. This is going excellent. Really, really well this is going. I'm actually really happy now. We've got a great chance in this tyre, especially with other cars, you know, stopping again. We could be right in the mix here for a win. Lando though, through on Gasly. You wouldn't know I had DRS on that straight. And Lando goes through, and Gasly has to give up on his defence. Try to go on the outside there, but don't have that sort of confidence or grip with this car and tyre combination. Let's clear Pierre then and make the move. Lando's onto the next car, so we're all flying. The fresher tyres are making a huge difference. Going to go to the outside onto the grass. Pierre with the squeeze, but we go through and make the overtake. On the brakes, just about get stopped as Hulkenberg pits. So that gives us another place. Hamilton's in as well.
Okay, mate, we might need to look at a new race strategy after that. I've got some options for you, so go and check your MFD.
Well, I'm quite happy right now, Mark. I'm not going to lie, mate.
Understood. Copy that.
No strategy there. Anyway, we've got DRS on Lando, and that's what matters. Pierre staying out, so he'll hold up some traffic for another lap. But we are very comfortable right now in P5 and P6. Here we go, Russell in the pits. So movement's starting to happen now. Both of our cars into the top 5. Still no word on the rain, which is interesting. We can always stop again if we're not going to make it. Tyre wear is actually very high around here. Even on the hard tyre, we're pretty high on tyre wear. So worst ways, we could always bolt on a set of softs at the very end of the race and basically just go for a short squirt, you know, and sprint. But we'll see what happens. I'm waiting for a rain update though. I should be inbound soon. And I want to hear from the game, not from me asking on the radio. Oh, here we go. The AI now pulling the trigger on their strategy. Only one car stays out.
Lando's in the pits. Lando in the pits.
So Sainz will probably be in at the end of the lap. So that will move us into the race lead.
Okay, we're approaching the pit window. You're going to be on softs.
Not sure exactly what we're looking at in terms of gaps right now, but Russell's probably the next car who is going to the end. So he's 10 seconds behind. So that's the gap we have right now. And there we go. Sainz into the pits. So the hunt begins. I think Lewis could be going to the end, although he's on a medium. He picked quite early. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on the gaps and see how it all pans out. Still no word on rain. Hamilton's starting to struggle on his mediums. He's not catching me at the same rate. And they're all bunching up behind him. Verstappen's flying. But right now they could all basically merge into one big scrap behind me, which might just cost them a bit of time. At this rate they're going to catch me, but the gap is reducing every passing lap. But I can't talk anymore, I need to focus. As we get our second warning, and that's exactly why. De Vries out. Please, no safety car. Not now. Verstappen up to second. He's got the pace right now. The Red Bull is so fast on the straight. Verstappen's going to be hard to stop. The Mercedes isn't that quick. Had it been Hamilton or Russell, it would have been okay, but Verstappen is very quick on the straight. So, yeah, we're going to try to hold on here, but I don't know how likely it's going to be. And this is going to bring the rest of the cars behind and the cavalry into play. That was a really good exit out of turn 1, which I'm very good at, by the way. My exits there have been perfect, and you can see we actually open up a pretty sizable gap on that first kind of short shoot down to the Eau chicane, and I think it gives me just enough here to kind of keep Verstappen at bay. So I'll try and keep that system working, but I'll see if I have enough battery to kind of hold him up for another 3 laps. To be fair, there's literally us, and then there's just a huge gap down to Norris. I could probably pit and still actually rejoin in clean air. So we'll let Verstappen go here. I don't think it's worth trying to use all my battery. I'm not going to make it. We might be able to salvage a podium if we're a bit smarter with our racecraft here. Like so. We'll get the DRS on the main straight. Verstappen won't. And we can make it an ugly fight. Just like that.
Right, we've got enough fuel for 3 more laps.
I have to pull out every single trick in the book that I know to get a podium out of this. Good exit again though, that's working very well. It would be nice if someone behind were to challenge Verstappen every now and again, just to take the pressure off. But we'll be okay on this straight. Here comes Verstappen again. I'm going to try and hold my own a bit here this time, because Sainz is arriving and he's got the freshest tyres out of anyone on that medium. So I'm going to be just behind Max. Oh my god, not again. No, not again. Ah, the engine's gone. Oh.
So another excellent win from Ferrari. And talk to me, what do you think it was that sealed the win for them?
I feel like consistency was probably the key today. There's being quick, and then there's being quick lap after lap after lap. If you can do that, you can capitalise on other people's errors without making many of your own. And that's an approach that can push you a long way up the field.
Ferrari are at it again. An excellent performance at today's Grand Prix, and they're certainly a team that know what they're doing out there.
There we go, guys. The Belgian Grand Prix is done. Sprint race and main race. and we come away with 0 points, which is really painful. However, there are some small consolations. Aston Martin nowhere to be found this weekend, and Norris scored 8 points, so we outscored them, but it could have been so much more. We was in the battle for the race win, and I genuinely think we could have done it. Sainz won the race in the end, so yeah, it would have been a really, really close one. Either way, guys, devastating. Third DNF for the season. We'll check to see what it is in the next episode in terms of the failure, but I know you guys are going to be asking for failures off at this point, so I think I might do it for the next episode, but I'll give it some thought. I'll see what the failure was as well. But yeah, devastated. Sainz, Leclerc, and Verstappen on the podium, or Sainz, Verstappen, Leclerc more like on the podium, and also the top 3 for the point scorers this weekend. Mercedes up there as well, Albon P6 in terms of the overall point standings, so some big points for Williams. But yeah, luckily, if we scroll down, no points for Aston Martin, so we'll take that. If we look at the standings, 8th place for us. Lando is now just 5 points behind. Could have been a hell of a lot more for us though, and we could have really closed the gap to Alonso had we finished that race. In the constructors though, we re-overtake Aston Martin and we're 3 points ahead, so that is a positive, and we retake P4. So not all doom and gloom, but obviously it hurts knowing that we could have really shifted the balance in our favour with, you know, Aston Martin scoring no points. Either way, guys, hope you enjoyed the race and the sprint. All the chaos, all the action. It was a really fun weekend. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. It really helps me out to try and reach the 100k goal this year on the channel. And yeah, as always, a big shout out to the members. Check out the 2 videos on screen if you haven't seen them already, and I'll see you guys in the next one at Zandvoort. Take care, and it's goodbye from me.